Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. So now guys, if you're a Nigerian resident in America, then I will urge you to vote for Donald Trump, because if Joe Biden enters that White House, then that will mark the end for Nigeria, especially the southern regions, because the Democrats, they don't really care for Nigeria. They pay lip service to Africa and black people, but they don't really care for Nigeria or the black race in general. You'll recall when Barack Obama, who himself purports to be a black man, when he was president of the United States, he came to Africa several times. He never came to Nigeria. He went completely against the Goodluck Jonathan regime, refusing not only to sell them the weapons that they needed to fight the Boko Haram insurgents, he also put pressure on other nations not to sell those weapons to the Jonathan regime. He did this, of course, to foist Buhari on Nigeria, because whether you know it or not, Barack Obama, there's more to Barack Obama anyway than meets the eye, and Joe Biden is always going to be a continuation of Barack Obama, especially a man that is already showing the early stages of dementia. So it will be Joe Biden's face and Barack Obama's voice. So this is really what is going to happen. So all that build up is to land on this headline: Buhari to Nigerian youths, I am against attacks on peaceful protesters by security agencies. So this is Buhari now paying lip service to what happened at Lekki, because the pressure is mounting not just within the Nigerian space. If it was just the pressure from the Nigerian space, he would have just quelled that with the same security services that is now trying to criticize in a vague way. But the pressure really that is really mounting on him is international, and that international pressure comes from the body language of the Trump regime, especially, which is completely against Buhari anyway. You recall when Buhari went to America, I can't recall, 2-3 years ago, Donald Trump called this man into his office and asked him why he was waging a war against the Christians in Nigeria. So Donald Trump is an anti-Buhari man, and you remember that he also said that Buhari was dead from the neck up. So an anti-Buhari man Donald Trump is, in spite of all of his vices, that one quality is sufficient enough, if I had a vote, to cast it in his favor. Again, the headline: Buhari to Nigerian youths, I am against attacks on peaceful protesters by security agencies. So now let's see how the Malami explains this. President Muhammadu Buhari said on Sunday that he is opposed to attacks on peaceful protesters by security officials. He, however, did not outrightly condemn such attacks as recently witnessed across the country. The president's statement comes about 2 weeks after a national broadcast where he remained defiant, refusing to condemn the attacks and shooting of unarmed #EndSARS protesters by security operatives. Security operatives last month used force, including live ammunition, to disperse unarmed protesters in many Nigerian cities such as Lagos, Abuja, Oyo, and Delta. The protesters were demanding an end to police brutality and the dissolution of a notorious police unit, SARS. Arguably, the worst of such incidents was the shooting of unarmed protesters at Lekki toll gate by soldiers, during which at least 2 people were killed and many others sustained gun wounds. The Lekki shooting is currently being investigated by a judicial panel set up by the Lagos state government. Mr. Buhari's latest stance was contained in a statement by his spokesperson, Garba Shehu. According to Mr. Shehu, the president spoke Sunday in Abuja in his message to the maiden National Youth Day celebration observed on November the 1st. Mr. Shehu said the president was represented at the event by Abuja Minister Mohammed Bello. No one who is obeying the law, whether they are in line waiting for a taxi or in a peaceful protest line, should be harassed or brutalized by law enforcement agencies. It is because of my abiding belief in the people's constitutional rights that we moved with dispatch to abolish SARS and to consider other reforms that will enhance the quality of law enforcement and improve the relationship between the police and the public, which is a prerequisite in a just society. To allow protest is not a sign of weakness, it is a sign of strength and belief in democracy and faith in the innate goodness of our people, the president was quoted as saying. So here is now the full statement by Garba Shehu. So Garba Shehu's statement in full, statement of course on behalf of Malam Buhari. So State House press release is what is the headline, and the heading of the piece is President Buhari to Nigerian youths, end street protest, dialogue with government on police reforms. So now let's now see what the full gist of it is. President Muhammadu Buhari Sunday in Abuja appealed to Nigerian youths to end street protest and participate in meaningful discussions with government aimed at comprehensive reforms to end all forms of police brutality against Nigerians. The president spoke in his message to the maiden National Youth Day celebration observed on November the 1st, coinciding with the African Youth Day celebration, against the backdrop of the recent protest against police brutality in the country, leading to the disbandment of the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, SARS. President Buhari, who was represented by the FCT Minister Mohammed Bello, told the gathering that the pleas of Nigerian youths have been heard by his administration. He added that the federal government now wants to hear concrete and practical ideas from the youths, whilst acknowledging their constitutional rights to peaceful protest. You must realize that protests cannot last indefinitely. My government will not lift a hand to stop or suppress you. However, the fact of the matter is that other forces and actors will seek to take over your protest, that they may redirect them in ways that you did not intend or perhaps do not agree with. Every successful peaceful protest the world over has understood that there comes a time when activity must move from the streets to the negotiation table. That time for you has come. Do not be afraid of this reality. You should welcome it. It is important that we all strive to use this moment constructively. Too many people have already sacrificed too dearly. It is our duty to use this fateful situation to move ourselves to a more just and caring society. As youths, you have a nation and a future to build. My government will always be your faithful partner in this essential and patriotic endeavor, he said. President Buhari also used the occasion to express his strong opposition to the wrongful use and imposition of violent force against any innocent law-abiding persons, particularly young people. No one who is obeying the law, whether they are in line waiting for a taxi or in a peaceful protest, should be harassed or brutalized by law enforcement agencies. It is because of my abiding belief in the people's constitutional right that we have moved with dispatch to abolish SARS and consider other reforms that will enhance the quality of law enforcement and improve the relationship between the police and the public, which is a prerequisite of a just society. To allow protest is not a sign of weakness, it is a sign of strength and belief in democracy and faith in the innate goodness of our people. This also shows confidence in the ability of our government to work with the people towards a reasonable and practical resolution to any challenge, he said. Describing Nigerian youths as agents of change, economic growth and sustainable development, President Buhari said his administration has established no fewer than 25 initiatives aimed at empowering youths across the country. He noted that these noble initiatives ongoing in the last 5 years were aimed at placing Nigerian youths on the path of career development, entrepreneurship, skills development, and direct employment. Today, we will unveil the official logo of the 75 billion Nigerian Youth Investment Fund for the period of 2020 to 2023. This novel fund is dedicated to investing in the innovative ideas, skills, and talents of Nigerian youths and to provide our youths with a special window to access much needed financing, business management skills, and other inputs critical for sustainable enterprise. He said the president announced that over 1 million applications have already been received since the Youth Investment Fund portal went live on October the 12th, 2020. He listed other youth-based initiatives consistent with his administration's policy of positioning youths for strategic leadership in different fields of endeavors as follows. The birth of the Nigerian Youth Policy in 2019, the Nigerian Youth Initiative Fund in July 2020, Young Farmers Initiative, Digital Skills, Entrepreneurship, Employment and Leadership Mentor Program, which recently received an approval of 4 billion naira for implementation, and the Not Too Young to Run Act. Other initiatives, according to the president, include the Presidential Youth Empowerment Scheme, PYES, the N-Power, the SI and Disaster Management, the Youth Entrepreneurship Support Program, Graduate Internship Scheme, and the Youth Enterprise with Innovation in Nigeria. The president also added the 20 million Technology Fund for Young Innovators as some of the major initiatives empowering youths across the country. Restating his call for national unity, President Buhari said Nigerian youths are better positioned to drive indivisibility of Nigeria and collectively overcome whatever challenges bedeviling the country. On this special occasion, we affirm our faith and confidence in the indivisible entity called Nigeria and its future. We face many challenges, but in you, this nation has the collective ability and drive to overcome that which confronts us, he said. At the event with the theme, Invest in the Youth, Secure Our Future, the winners of the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports Development organized 60-day app challenge and youth innovators were recognized and received cash rewards. So long-winded and roundabout the bushes, of course, but this is toning down now of rhetorics. It really is. Because, of course, Malam Buhari's first opening salvo when he was eventually forced in front of the cameras when the country had been burning for a good 10 days was to make that 12 minutes or so speech, 11 plus minutes, just boasting and bragging and threatening that, look, if you people don't calm down, I will weigh down on you. And then shortly after he said that, we all saw what happened in Lekki, etc. But then that thing that happened in Lekki is being reported on CNN, is being reported on DW, which is the Russian global network, television network, is being reported on Al Jazeera, is being reported on BBC, is being reported on French international TV, is being reported globally. People are marching in Norway against the Nigerian embassy there. People have taken over the whole of New York, chanting Buhari must go. The Nigerian consulate in London, it has not known peace, and of course the British would not stop them because they just accommodate protests so long as you don't disturb other people. So they've been weighing against that building and marching against that building for almost now 14 days solid. So the pressure now is mounting, and this thing has taken an international dimension. So it is no longer, and I've always said that the way to defeat this guy is to take the gun from him, make his gun impotent, then of course then he has nothing else, because this is a man that believes in force. Yamutu, Yamutu, Yamutu are the three mantras that has guided his life from birth till his 80-something years, 84, 85, however old he is. So he only understands force, and that force has served his life to the point that it has made him the president of Nigeria. So he has no other language apart from just AK-45. That is the only thing that I understand. So if you dull the bullets and turn those bullets into water, then he has nothing else. So he will go on his knees and go on his knees. He has done. And the way to turn that Yamu to Meidumbu attitude, the way to turn that Meidumbu thing that he does into dust, is to have this international dimension now that this thing has, because it is the international dimension that this thing has that is toning down the rhetorics that is coming from Aso Rock. Make no mistakes about that. If this thing was happening within the confines of Nigeria, he would have asked his boys to surround the whole of Lagos State, and anybody that looks younger than 50, he would tell them to just mow them down. This guy is known for that. We saw what happened to the Shiite movement that were protesting in Abuja. These people, they will protest and not even go on the main road. They will just protest in a single file, chanting saying Buhari must go, Buhari must go. And we all saw what happened to them. And why are they protesting? It is because 300 of them were raised down in Kaduna and no justice has been served. Instead, their leader has been held hostage since pretty much the inception of the Buhari regime. So Yamu too is the only language that Buhari understands, but the pen is mightier than the sword, is what we are saying to him, because the chantings will still go on in London, the pressure will go on in New York, the Canadians are having their say, and Buhari is on his knees. Conversations in the comment section, he is now trying to roll it back, and he's throwing 75 billion at the boys. What says you? Come share thoughts. I'm sure boys will quickly go and collect that 75 billion, but then of course the pressure must, because this is the one window of opportunity that you will have, you know, because if this thing goes away, they will make sure that it doesn't happen again. Anybody that says even an untoward word towards the Buhari regime, they will just quietly go and either pick him up or lock him up or just get rid of him completely. But if this season now peters out, the opportunity and nothing impactful happens, then this guy will just ride you forever. Conversations in the comment section, they have dulled the Yamoto, but then of course, what is then the advantage that is going to, they say press the advantage, so how is now the advantage going to be pressed? Come share thoughts. But before you come share those thoughts, click on the red subscribe button so it turns gray. Bell button notifies you every time I drop a new video. Click on like as well, because that helps with the YouTube algorithm. Once you've done all the clicking, so you click on subscribe, click on like, and click on the bell notification. So once you've done all that, come join me then in the comment section. Come tell me what you're making of this now conciliatory note that is echoing from Aso Rock. So I'll leave you here. Carry this conversation on with you in the comment section, but here I say peace.